There is a number sitting somewhere in your future. You do not know it yet. You have not calculated it, but it exists. A specific dollar amount that, once it lands in your investment account, starts paying every single bill you have, your rent, your groceries, your electricity, your phone. Every recurring charge that currently drains your paycheck, covered, not by your boss, not by your job, by a pile of shares you bought on ordinary Tuesday afternoons while everyone around you was upgrading their lifestyle. That number is closer than you think. And today, I am going to walk you through every milestone between where you are now and the morning you wake up and realize your money made more overnight than you used to make before lunch. My name is Ivan, and this is how dividends replace your life. One bill at a time. $5,000. You are 24. You have $5,000 in a brokerage account. You transferred it last Thursday from a savings account, earning almost nothing. You felt strange clicking the buy button. You picked a broad dividend ETF yielding around 4%. Nothing exciting, nothing your friends would recognize. $5,000 at 4% pays you $200 a year. $200. That is your streaming subscriptions for 12 months. Netflix, Spotify, a cloud storage plan. Covered, not by the hours you worked this week, but by shares sitting in an account you barely look at. You will be tempted to dismiss this. $200 feels like pocket change. But think about what just happened. For the first time in your life, you earned money without trading a single hour of your time. Every paycheck you ever received before this moment required you to show up somewhere, do something, and wait for someone else to decide you had earned enough. This $200 arrived because you own a thing. That is a different category of income entirely. Not better because of the amount, better because of the mechanism. Your roommate sees the ETF on your phone. He asks what it is. You explain. He says $200 a year is pointless. He says he makes that in a shift. You nod. He is not wrong about the math. He is wrong about the direction. He is spending every dollar he makes. You just built a tiny machine that makes dollars while you sleep. His income resets to zero every Monday morning. Yours never will again. You set the account to reinvest automatically. You watch the share count tick up by a fraction. Nobody celebrates. Nobody notices. That is the point. The second month, you get a deposit notification while you are brushing your teeth. $16 and change. You almost laugh. But then you think about it differently. $16 arrived in your account while you were holding a toothbrush. You did not answer an email for it. You did not sit in a meeting for it. You did not commute for it. $16 found you in your bathroom on a Tuesday morning and asked for nothing in return. You will never think about money the same way again. $25,000. You are 27. 3 years of steady contributions. $25,000 sitting in that same boring fund. It pays you $1,000 a year. $83 a month. That is your phone bill. Gone. Not reduced. Not negotiated down. Gone. Paid by dividends. You notice this on a Wednesday evening. You are sitting on your couch, scrolling through your bills, and you realize your phone bill posted, but your checking account did not move. The dividend deposit covered it 4 days earlier. You did not plan it that way. The math just aligned. And something shifts inside your chest. A bill that used to cost you 5 hours of work now costs you nothing. You still work those 5 hours, but now those hours belong to you. This is the part nobody warns you about. The first bill that disappears does something psychological that no spreadsheet can capture. It proves the model works. Before this moment, dividend investing was theory. It was something you read about in forums and watched people talk about in videos, exactly like this one. Now it is a phone that rings every month without asking you for anything. Your coworker mentions he just signed up for a new phone plan, unlimited everything, $65 a month. He is proud of the deal. You say nothing. Your phone costs you $0, not because you found a better plan, because your money found a way to pay for it without you. You start to notice something strange about the way people talk about money at this stage. Everyone discusses earning it. Nobody discusses owning things that produce it. Your uncle talks about overtime. Your friend talks about his side gig driving for a rideshare company. Your neighbor talks about flipping furniture on weekends. All of them are describing labor. All of them are trading hours for dollars. You are doing something different. You bought a small piece of a machine that creates dollars on its own schedule. And every month that machine gets a little bigger because you keep feeding it. $25,000 is not a milestone anyone throws a party for. Nobody posts about it online. Nobody brags about it at dinner. But it is the milestone that answers the only question that matters early on. Does this actually work? The answer, sitting in your bank account next to your now invisible phone bill, is yes, $75,000. You are 30, $75,000 invested. It pays you $3,000 a year, $250 a month. That covers your phone, your internet, your electric bill, and your gym membership. 4 bills. 4 things you used to pay for by showing up to a place you sometimes did not want to be. Now covered by something you built in the background while you lived your normal life. This is where Rich Richard and Poor Peter start to separate. They both turned 30 this year. They both make the same salary. Rich Richard has been dumping money into his dividend account since he was 24. He drives a paid-off car, buys his clothes at regular stores, and eats out once a week. Poor Peter leased a car he cannot afford, upgraded his apartment to impress people who do not think about him when they go home, and spends every raise within 2 weeks of receiving it. Rich Richard does not look wealthy. He looks ordinary. That is the trick. Wealth at this stage is invisible. It does not wear a logo. It does not post on social media. It sits in a brokerage account and quietly pays the electricity bill every single month. Poor Peter earns the same salary, saves nothing, and feels broke by the 22nd of every month. He calls it bad luck. It is not bad luck. It is a spending pattern disguised as a lifestyle. He thinks Richard is cheap. Richard thinks Peter is on a treadmill. One of them is right. At $75,000, you have not changed your life in any visible way. But behind the scenes, 4 monthly obligations have been disconnected from your paycheck entirely. You could take a 2-week unpaid vacation, and those 4 bills would still get paid. That does not feel like wealth. It feels like breathing room. And breathing room is where good decisions come from. $150,000. You are 33. $150,000 invested. It pays you $6,000 a year, $500 a month. That is groceries for one person for an entire year. 12 months of food bought by money you did not earn. You notice this at the supermarket on a Saturday. You are putting chicken and rice and vegetables into your cart, and you realize that nothing in this cart is coming from your salary. The meal you cook tonight, the lunch you pack tomorrow, the coffee you brew Monday morning, all of it was paid for by shares you bought years ago and never sold. You stand in the checkout line and watch the man in front of you pay with a credit card. You wonder if he knows that the interest on that card is someone else's dividend. You are on the receiving end now. He is on the paying end. Same economy, different seats. At $150,000, something else happens that the money blogs never talk about. You start making better decisions. Not because you are smarter, because you are calmer. When your car needs a repair, you do not panic. When a medical bill shows up, you do not skip meals to cover it. The dividend income acts like a cushion you never have to touch, but always know is there. And that cushion changes the way you walk through the world. You negotiate differently. You respond to problems differently. You stop making fear-based financial choices because fear no longer has the same grip on you. Your sister asks you to co-sign a loan. You say no, not because you are selfish, because you understand what a co-sign loan does to a balance sheet. A year ago, you might have said yes out of guilt. Now you think in systems, not emotions. $6,000 a year will not change your tax bracket. It will not change your zip code, but it changes the texture of your days. You stop eating lunch at your desk because you feel guilty about taking a break. You start taking the full lunch hour. You walk outside. You sit in the sun. You eat food your dividends paid for. And for 30 minutes in the middle of a workday, you feel something that most people in that office building have never felt. You feel like you are not behind. $300,000. You are 36. $300,000. It pays you $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month. That is rent in a mid-sized American city, or a mortgage payment on a modest home. $1,000 every month deposited into your account without you lifting a finger. You realize this on a Sunday night. You are lying in bed doing the math on your phone. $1,000 a month is $12,000 a year. $12,000 a year is what someone working 20 hours a week at $15 an hour makes before taxes. You have, in effect, created a part-time employee that works for you around the clock, never takes a day off, and never asks for a raise. That part-time employee is your portfolio. And unlike a real employee, it gets more productive every year because the dividends get reinvested, the share count goes up, the next quarter pays a little more, and the cycle repeats. This is where the math starts to feel unfair. Not unfair against you, unfair in your favor. The gap between you and someone who started at the same time but spent instead of invested is now enormous. Poor Peter, your old contrast, just got a raise at work. He celebrated with a weekend trip and a new watch. His net worth did not change. Yours grows while you sleep, while you eat, while you sit in traffic. The compounding machine does not care what you are doing. It just runs. At 300,000, your job is no longer your only source of income. It is your primary source, but not your only one. That distinction matters more than the number itself. Because when your job is your only income, every work decision carries survival weight. When your job is one of two income streams, you negotiate from strength, not need. You test this one afternoon. Your manager asks everyone to volunteer for a weekend shift. In the past, you always raised your hand first. This time you sit still. Someone else volunteers. Nothing happens. Nobody looks at you sideways. Nobody writes a note in your file. You were afraid of a consequence that did not exist, and the only reason you can see that clearly now is because $12,000 a year in passive income gave you just enough distance from desperation to think straight. $500,000. You are 39, $500,000 invested. It pays you $20,000 a year. That is the basic cost of being alive in a lot of this country. Rent or mortgage on a modest place, groceries, utilities, gas, insurance, the bones of a life fully funded by dividends. Financial planners call this the 4% rule. You have probably heard of it. It means you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year and statistically never run out of money. But you are not withdrawing anything. You are living off the dividends without touching the principal. That is better than the 4% rule. That is the 4% rule with a safety net underneath it. Your boss calls you into his office on a Friday afternoon. He needs you to take over a project nobody else wants. It means longer hours, more travel, and no extra pay. You say you will think about it. You go home. You sit on your porch. You think about it for 10 minutes. You decide no. Not because you are lazy, because your time has a price now, and he is not offering enough. A year ago, you would have said yes immediately. You would have said yes because saying no felt dangerous. What if he fires you? What if he passes you over? What if you need this job? You still need this job, but you do not need it the way you used to need it. $20,000 a year in dividends is not enough to retire on, but it is enough to walk away from any single bad situation without your life falling apart. $500,000 does not buy freedom. It buys options, and options are the currency that actually matters. And you think about this on the drive home. You pass a billboard advertising a luxury apartment complex. The tagline says, "Live the life you deserve." The rent starts at $2,200 a month. You do the math in your head. $26,400 a year. Someone earning $70,000 before taxes would spend nearly half their take-home on that apartment. They would live in a beautiful building and feel broke every single month. You live in a modest place that costs you nothing because your dividends cover it. You pass the billboard and feel nothing. No envy, no temptation. Just the quiet arithmetic of someone who understands the difference between looking rich and being free. If you are still here, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. I break down wealth building strategies like this every single week, and I think you will find the next part worth staying for. $750,000. You are 42. $750,000 invested. It pays you $30,000 a year, $2,500 a month. That is more than a lot of Americans bring home after taxes from their full-time jobs. You are earning a real salary from doing nothing. You are at a barbecue with old college friends. One of them asks what you do for work. You tell him. He asks how it is going. You say fine. He does not know that you could quit on Monday and maintain the same lifestyle. He does not know that the steak he is eating cost him 8 hours of labor and cost you nothing. He does not know that the difference between his financial life and yours is not talent, not luck, not inheritance. It is 12 years of boring, consistent investing into funds that nobody talks about at barbecues. At $750,000, you stop checking your bank account, not because you are careless, Because the number always goes up. The dividends deposit, the balance grows, the share count increases, and next quarter it happens again. You have built a financial flywheel that feeds itself. Every dividend buys more shares. Every share pays more dividends. The loop closed years ago. Now it just accelerates. You look at your friends, good people, smart people, people who earn more than you ever did, and you realize the gap is not income. It is behavior. They earn and spend. You earn and deploy. Same money, different instructions. Your neighbor is refinancing his house for the third time. He tells you the new rate is better. You nod. You do not tell him that refinancing is just rearranging debt, not eliminating it. You do not tell him that the interest he will pay over the next 30 years would have generated $200,000 in dividend income if it had been invested instead. You say nothing because the conversation would take an hour and he would not believe you anyway. The math only makes sense to people who have already started doing it. To everyone else, it sounds like a fantasy. $1 million. You are 45. $1 million. The number everyone talks about. The number that used to feel impossible when you were 24 with $5,000 and a streaming subscription paid by dividends. It pays you $40,000 a year, $40,000, a full American median salary replaced entirely by passive income. You sit at your kitchen table on a Tuesday evening and do something you have never done before. You open a tax calculator. You type in $40,000, qualified dividends, single filer. You hit enter. The tax owed is zero. Under the current tax code, qualified dividends below a certain threshold for a single filer are taxed at 0%. Your friends at work lose a third of every paycheck to federal and state taxes before it ever reaches their bank account. You keep everything. Let that difference land for a second. The person next to you at the office earns $40,000 and takes home roughly $28,000. After taxes, you earn $40,000 in dividends and take home $40,000. Same gross income, $12,000 more in your pocket. Not because you found a loophole, because the tax code treats investment income differently than employment income. You did not write the rules. You just read them. Nobody at your job knows. You walk in every morning at the same time. You sit at the same desk. You nod in the same meetings. But inside, something fundamental has shifted. You are not here because you have to be. You are here because you choose to be. That choice changes everything. The way you sit in your chair changes. The way you respond to pressure changes. The way you think about your own time changes. You no longer trade hours for survival. You trade hours for purpose, or you do not trade them at all. $1 million does not feel the way the movie said it would. There is no champagne. There is no rooftop party. There is a man sitting at a kitchen table on a Tuesday night looking at a tax calculator and realizing that the game he started playing at 24 just paid off in a way that most people will never experience. You close the laptop. You wash your coffee mug. You go to bed at 10. Your phone screen lights up with a headline about the market dropping 2%. You do not check your portfolio. Volatility used to make your stomach clench. Now it is just weather. The market goes up. The market goes down. The dividends keep depositing. The machine does not care about headlines. It cares about earnings, payout ratios, and the slow accumulation of shares that never stop working. You turn off the light. Tomorrow is Wednesday. You will go to work. Nobody will know. $1.5 million. You are 48. $1.5 million invested. It pays you $60,000 a year, $5,000 a month. That is more than the average American retiree spends annually, and you have not retired yet. You are in your 40s. You have decades of compounding ahead of you, even if you never add another dollar. You read a study that morning with your coffee. It says Americans believe they need about $1.4 million to retire comfortably. You passed that number 3 years ago. You could stop working today and live better than the average retiree for the rest of your life while never touching your principal. You walk to your desk, you open your email, you type a 2-sentence resignation letter, you read it twice, you hit send. Your boss calls you an hour later. He asks if everything is okay. You tell him everything is fine. You tell him this is just the right time. He offers more money. You politely decline. He does not understand. More money is not what you need. You have a machine that prints it. You drive home at 11 in the morning on a Wednesday. The highway is empty. Everyone else is at work. You pull into your driveway and sit in the car for a minute. You think about the version of yourself at 24 who transferred $5,000 into a brokerage account and felt scared. You think about the coworker who laughed at your $200 annual dividend. You think about every Friday night you ate at home instead of going out, every used car you drove instead of leasing, every raise you invested instead of spent. None of it felt heroic at the time. All of it was just math. Patient, boring, relentless math. The first week without a job is strange, not stressful. Strange. You wake up Monday morning out of habit, you make coffee, you sit at the table, there is nowhere to be. Your phone does not buzz with emails. Nobody needs a report by end of day. You sit there for an hour just breathing. The second week is better. By the third week, you have stopped counting days. You have started filling them instead. You read. You cook meals from scratch for the first time in years. You take your dog on walks that last an hour instead of 10 minutes. You call your mother on a Tuesday afternoon just because you have time. She asks if you got fired. You laugh. You tell her no. You tell her you just reached a number. $2 million. You are 52. $2 million invested. It pays you $80,000 a year, but you only spend 40. The other 40 gets reinvested. Your portfolio is growing faster now than it did in the first 10 years because the base is so large that even modest gains produce real numbers. You have been out of the workforce for 4 years. You wake up when you want. You read for 2 hours in the morning. You take a walk at 10. You have lunch with your wife. You pick up a hobby you quit in your 20s because you did not have the time. You have the time now. You have had the time for years. Your son is 19. He asks you how you did it. You tell him the truth. You tell him it was not complicated. It was just consistent. You bought shares every month for 20 years. You reinvested every dividend. You never sold during a crash. You never upgraded your life to match your income. You lived on less than you made and put the difference into something that paid you back. He asks if it was hard. You tell him the hardest part was the first 5 years, when the numbers were small and the progress felt invisible. When your friends were buying things and you were buying shares. When $200 a year felt like a joke and $1,000 a month felt like a fantasy. You tell him about the coworker who laughed. You tell him about the cousin who leased the car. You tell him about Marcus from your old office who chased a 12% yield trap and lost half his money. You tell him about every person along the way who looked at your boring strategy and said it was too slow. They are all still working. Every single one of them. It was not a fantasy. It was a forecast. And every forecast that is funded consistently eventually becomes a reality. You did not need a higher salary. You did not need a side hustle. You did not need to pick the right stock at the right time. You needed one boring ETF, one reinvest button, and 28 years of doing the exact same thing every single month while the rest of the world chased shortcuts that never arrived. You sit on your porch that evening. The sun is going down. Your phone buzzes once. A dividend deposit. You do not check the amount. You already know the machine works. It has worked for 28 years. It will work for 28 more. And when you are gone, it will work for your son and his children after him. You did not build a fortune. You built a system. And the system did what systems do when you leave them alone long enough. It replaced you. Not your value, not your purpose, not your meaning.